You think you know why you do the things you do. You know why you chose that person, why you avoided that sound, why you reached for that object. At least, that's how it feels. But beneath every conscious thought is a brain processing information you may never notice. And that raises an unsettling question. How much of what you do actually reaches your awareness? To understand why this matters, imagine going back to a time before cities, phones, or even written language. Our ancestors lived in environments where noticing something quickly could matter. A sound in the darkness, movement in the trees, something unfamiliar approaching. They couldn't stop and consciously analyze every detail. The archaeological record cannot tell us exactly what prehistoric humans were thinking. Their thoughts didn't fossilize, but their tools, planning, movement, and other behavior give researchers clues about the cognitive abilities they needed. And one thing is clear, human cognition didn't suddenly become conscious. A huge amount of mental processing happens automatically. Your brain constantly filters, evaluates, and responds to information without waiting for you to consciously analyze every piece of it. And this is where things get strange. In the 1980s, neuroscientist Benjamin Libet conducted a famous experiment. Participants were asked to make a simple movement whenever they felt like it. They also reported when they first became consciously aware of their intention to move. Libet found that a measurable brain signal, called the readiness potential, appeared before participants reported becoming consciously aware of the intention. For decades, this was presented as evidence that your brain makes decisions before you do. But there's a problem. The experiment doesn't prove that your conscious mind has no control. Later research has challenged how the readiness potential should be interpreted, and reviews have found important methodological problems and uncertainty surrounding the timing of conscious intention. So the real lesson isn't, your brain secretly controls everything. It's more interesting than that. Your brain can begin preparing an action before you're consciously aware of every part of that process. And then researchers discovered something even stranger. In split brain research, scientists studied people whose corpus callosum, the major connection between the brain's hemispheres, had been severed. Some experiments revealed that information could reach one hemisphere without being directly available to the other. Yet the person could sometimes still produce a response. And when asked why they had responded that way, the brain could construct an explanation from the information available to it. This led researcher Michael Gazzaniga and others to explore the idea of a left hemisphere interpreter, a system that tries to create a coherent story from what the brain has experienced. In other words, sometimes your mind doesn't simply know why you did something. It may construct a reason that makes your behavior make sense. And you don't need a laboratory to experience something similar. Look around you. Right now, your brain is filtering an enormous amount of information. You aren't consciously examining every sound, every object, every face, every movement. You experience a world that feels complete. But experiments on change blindness reveal something unsettling. People can fail to notice surprisingly large changes in a scene when their attention isn't directed toward the relevant information. Your conscious experience isn't a perfect recording of everything around you. Your brain prioritizes, it selects, it ignores, and much of that happens without you consciously directing every step. So, is there a mysterious subconscious mind controlling you? Not exactly. There isn't a second person hiding inside your head. There is one brain constantly processing more information than reaches conscious awareness. Sometimes that processing influences what you notice. Sometimes it prepares an action. Sometimes it helps you react before you've consciously worked out why. And sometimes, when you ask yourself, why did I do that? The answer you come up with may be only part of the story. Maybe that's the unsettling part. Not that you don't control your mind, but that you don't need to consciously control most of what your mind does. And understanding that might be the first step toward understanding yourself.